Welcome back. There is growing concern that the upcoming college football season will not be played due to the pandemic, and still some players, even President Trump, pressing officials to make it happen. The president tweeting simply, "Play college football." So, how will all of this play out? Let's bring in ABC's Kaylee Hartung with us from the campus of LSU in Baton Rouge, and Kirk Herbstreit, an analyst for ESPN's College Game Day. And Kaylee, I'll start with you. Tell us what schools have put in place right now to try and get college football going, while, of course, remembering the safety of their athletes.
Yeah, Amy, the real dilemma here is the safety of these players. The question of how do you protect players in the middle of a pandemic? Administrators and coaches will tell you that that's always been their top priority, the health and safety of their players. Now they just have a new opponent in COVID-19. So the frustration you're hearing from some schools who have resources like here at LSU is that they have spent these past 2 months with players back in the building, educating these players about the virus, putting new protocols in place, figuring out how to best manage these student athletes, having isolation protocols if someone does test positive, testing on certain intervals, using new technology and innovation to do all of that. But the flip side of that is that you do have schools who don't necessarily have these resources who haven't done that. And we've heard players speak up to say that they don't feel safe in those environments. We're now hearing players unify across the country saying they want universal health mandates in this league because this league is only as safe and as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Kirk, because you just heard the arguments there, the NCAA, the conferences. A lot of people point to the fact that they've had a lot of time to come together on that universal plan. Why hasn't that happened?
Well, the reality is in college football, there are different divisions. And what was getting most of the attention this week are the big conferences, the Power Five. I think it's very easy to be on the outside for all of us and to say, why isn't the NCAA controlling this and controlling that? They literally have nothing to do with the Power Five. What we have, the issue we have that's being exploited at this point in college football with COVID is not so much a lack of leadership, but we have 5 different leaders because we have 5 power conferences. And you can imagine if you're in the Pac-12 and you're Larry Scott as a commissioner, you're worried about your constituents, your coaches, your presidents, your ADs of your conference. You don't care about the rest of those conferences. If you're in the Big Ten, you're focused on the Big Ten. So therefore, we have 5 different power brokers trying to figure out what's in their best interest of their schools. And that's what I think's created a lot of turmoil here early. It started over the weekend about whether or not we're going to play or not. Because I think a lot of people, schedules came out last week. A lot of people thought we were heading in a direction of playing. And then Saturday, news started to break that the Big Ten was having second thoughts, that they might shut things down. Now the Pac-12 has meetings today with their presidents. They're thinking of shutting things down. So it's the NCAA just doesn't have the authority over the Power Five when it comes to college football. Each conference has their own authority.
Right. All right, Kaylee, so if there is a season, do we know what it will look like?
Well, just as Kirk described that power structure in college football, there is no game plan that's being outlined for what this season would look like on the whole. I think the safest bet is for us to look at what soccer looks like being played overseas right now. The bubbles that have been created by Major League Baseball to an extent and the NBA, where you don't see fans allowed in those stadiums. That could be what we're looking at a college football season looking like. But there's also that option of what if this season doesn't happen? And that's almost the bigger question for these student athletes. Their bigger concern is, well, then what next? What does that mean for their eligibility? What does that mean for their opportunities within buildings like this one to have the nutrition, to have the workouts, to have a safe place to come? From Clemson star quarterback Trevor Lawrence saying that these players are at just as much, if not more, risk if they don't play. And that's a big argument that's being made for why there should be a season.
Yeah, Kirk, let me get your thoughts on that. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, other players saying they want to play. Do their voices have any impact?
We'll see. I would think, number one, I think it's great to hear these players having a platform to be able to come out and get together and be able to talk about how much that they want to play. I think there is a narrative because some of the stories that have been out there and the concerns that some of the players have had, I think some of the media have painted this as if the players don't want to play. And that's why I think you've seen so many high-profile names come out and say, oh, no, we do want to play. We're not being forced to play. We want to play because they enjoy it. They love it. So I think that truly if things get shut down, I think it would be for the time being. I think they're holding on as long as they can. I know Greg Sankey, who's the commissioner of the SEC, their schedule doesn't start to the latter part of September. They're holding on for dear life, hoping things might change. Data may be going down or trending in a different direction. That's the hope. But I would not be surprised if you start to see the Pac-12 maybe later today, maybe eventually the Big Ten, delaying the start of their season, maybe pushing it back to even a February or a March start, hoping that there are therapeutics or by then there's maybe medicine that can help with some of these symptoms to help give their players peace of mind. But right now it does not look like we're trending in a great direction for this sport and being able to enjoy the sport in the fall. Now the SEC, if there's anybody who's going to play football in the fall,
I was going to say,
it'll be the SEC.
It's the SEC. And to that point, real quickly, Kirk, do you think it's possible that one conference would play while the others don't?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they're all in their own silo. And so just because that first domino, let's say it's the Pac-12 falls of these Power Fives and the Big Ten, I don't think it's fair to paint it as in, well, it's a matter of time, ACC, Big 12, SEC. They're going to do what they do. I talked to Nick Saban last night. They're very adamant about saying, why do we have to respond to what these other conferences are doing? Let's follow our plan. We're going to do what we think is right based on the medicine and based on the doctor's information. And they feel very confident that they're moving forward and they're going to play, which would be bizarre, wouldn't it, to have the Big Ten out and the ACC and then just basically have the SEC would have the entire Saturday to themselves to play football.
I don't know that they'd mind that, though, Kirk.
No,
this Georgia girl
they
speaking loudly, and I know LSU probably feels the same way. All right. Kirk, Kaylee, thank you for your insight. We really appreciate the both of you today.
Okay, take care.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.